banyak perkara yang pelajar tak tahu, macam seolah-olah dia di dalam situasi universiti kan.
Semua okey ya.
Dia rasa macam dia tak melakukan rasuah. Sebenarnya indirectly sebenarnya dia melakukan rasuah. Kita cuba ceritakanlah. Contohnya lah waktu peperiksaan, kita cakap ada pelajar bagi hadiah sebelum pensyarah bagi markah. That is kind of salah laku integriti. Sebab apa? Bila pelajar memberi hadiah kepada pensyarah sebelum waktu markah diberi, itu menunjukkan pelajar itu ada niat. Hasrat. Dan pensyarah tu juga secara automatiknya dia menerima. Bila dia menerima, dia akan dipengaruhi oleh perasaan dia untuk memberi markah yang lebih tinggi untuk pelajar tersebut. Benda-benda tu kita ada terangkan dalam kelas lah.
Okay. So itulah saya rasa bagus apa yang you buat ni. Documentation very orang kata tersusun and structured. Mungkin in the future to maybe saya suggestion lah to improve lagi supaya yang ni dah okay. Meaning that you have something like what we call as case-based reasoning, CBR. Kalau dalam IT tu dah lama dah memang ada. So you boleh macam okay, kalau you buat ni apa jadi? So kita boleh buat sistem lah. So student tu boleh jawab dan okay bagi satu senario, then what happen? Kalau jawab ni, towards the end dapat branching, dapat tu. Mungkin dah ada kot.
Sebenarnya kita untuk ni kita ada buat reflection.
Alright.
Maknanya bila dia buat macam contohnya dia pergi lawatan kan ataupun walkabout, balik pada walkabout tu dia akan buat satu reflection. Dan reflection tu kita akan tahu pelajar tu adakah dia faham tentang tugasan tadi, apa yang dia buat tu. So apa pengalaman experience dia, dekat situ kita akan tahu. Kita gunakan reflection lah, tapi dia terlalu subjektif lah. Dia bukan sesuatu yang kuantitatif untuk diukur lah.
Kalau yang CBR tu tadi memang kuantitatif. Boleh ukur lah. Nanti at the end of the day kita tahulah berapa persen dia ni faham ke tidak kan. So kalau boleh ada benda tu memang we can go lagi jauh lah. Alright, congrats. Doktor.
Okay, tanya pada Dr. Jahid di atas tangan dan juga dokumentasi yang sistematik. Okey, dari segi inovasi PDP untuk KPI ni, rasa sangat baguslah. Cuma tadi saya nak tanya macam mana yang kan CAP kognitif, efektif, psikomotor tu kan. Macam mana Dr. Mujahid mengkategorikan assessment seperti walkabout ni dia dalam kategori psikomotor, sebab psikomotor biasanya macam physical kan.
Yes.
Sedangkan macam kalau macam pendidikan jasmani kan dia melibatkan fizikal kan. Yang untuk yang walkabout ni adakah bagaimana dia dikategorikan untuk ni lah psikomotor ni?
Okay, untuk
sebab dalam efektif pun ada juga walkabout.
Betul. Okay, sebab dalam setiap tugasan tu kita bukan measure satu perkara lah. Dalam satu tugasan tu akan ada beberapa domain yang kita akan measure sebab kita ikut kepada hasil pembelajaran. So sebenarnya kalau kita cakap pasal psikomotor ni dia berkaitan dengan fizikal kan, benda yang macam pendidikan jasmani tu senang kita nak ukur kan. Kita tahu pergerakan dia, tapi dari segi kategori rasuah ni bila kita pergi walkabout tu contohnya, jadi kita tahu dia dah hafal psikomotor dia adalah psikomotor kita nak ukur kat sini adalah dua perkara lah. Kita nak ukur tentang lifelong learning tu lah. Maknanya apa dia belajar daripada benda tu tadi. So bila dia kemampuan dia untuk bercerita dengan yakin ya kepada komuniti tentang rasuah ni, walaupun sebenarnya dia tak pernah pun mengalami rasuah tu secara directly. That is subjektif kelas ni lah. Kita tak tahu adakah aku melakukan rasuah ataupun integriti. So cara dia menyampaikan kepada komuniti tu dia akan dinilai oleh penguatkuasa sendirilah, sebab setiap kumpulan pelajar tu akan diikuti oleh penguatkuasa. Sebab to be honest with you, kelas ni selalunya kita ada 60 orang pelajar hingga 100 orang pelajar lah. So bila kita buat grup pecahan tu saya seorang tak boleh, so saya akan minta bantuan daripada pegawai SPRM. So kelas ni biasanya kita memang ada bukan connection lah, maknanya kita ada kerjasama dengan SPRM setiap semester untuk buat walkabout, buat PSA, kita ada buat lawatan, semua benda tu kita ada kerjasama yang erat lah dengan SPRM. Thank you.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada pembentangan dari Fakulti Ekologi Manusia sebentar tadi. Untuk sesi pembentangan seterusnya ini, dari Fakulti Sains dengan tajuk Amalan Terbaik Inovasi, Analyzing Computer Science Education Through High Flex Bicronus Approach, yang akan disampaikan secara duo mewakili tim mereka iaitu teknologis Dr. Nur Amelina dan Dr. Nurawi. Dipersilakan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and good afternoon ladies and gentlemen. So we are back on our education today. I am your host, Norris binti Muhammad Nurawi, and today we have a very good speaker with us. She is the expert in transformative teaching, and she is from the Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology, University Putra Malaysia. So please welcome Nurul Amalina Nasharuddin. Hi, welcome Dr. Amy. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Right. So today we're here to discuss. So today we are here to discuss on high flex bicronus. That's a mouthful to actually say. Can you tell us a bit more about what it is exactly?
Okay. First of all, thank you for inviting me to this talk show. Okay, my name is Nurul Amalina. You can call me Amy. Okay, so I will be somehow explaining on one of our current approach. We call that as a high flex bicronus approach. Okay, so basically, this is what we have always keep in mind in how is actually the learning method that we have, especially during the pandemic COVID-19. So what is actually high flex bicronus approach is actually it's a combination of hybrid, flexible, and also bicronus. Okay, it's a very somehow catchy words, I suppose. Okay, so hybrid and flexible is in the terms of how is actually the learning mode. Okay, I mean, once students they learn how the mode of learning. So it can be hybrid. It can also be online learning, asynchronous online, and also synchronous online. So there are a few choices that student can make. So that is the flexibility of the high flex bicronus approach.
Right, right. So let me get this straight. High flex bicroness is about hybrid, flexible, and bicroness, meaning that you can do it asynchronous or synchronous, whether it's online or whether it's offline. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start about motivation. What was the motivation for high flex bicroness approach?
Okay, so basically, how in the motivation is actually on when we are somehow forced, okay, to moving towards online learning during the COVID-19 pandemic, not only in Malaysia but all over the world. Somehow suddenly tomorrow, okay, everybody is online learning. So it's a very, very challenging for educators and also students to move towards the online learning from the basic in-person or what we call face-to-face class. So basically, these are actually the main motivation. And why we come out with this approach of high flex bicroness is because not all of the students have the capabilities of joining the class online. Okay, I have one student from Kelantan. He specifically contact me and say, I couldn't join the synchronous Zoom class, doctor, what can I do? So that's where we need to somehow make it flexible so that we can, although this kind of student couldn't join online, but still they have the possibility of achieving the same learning outcome as other students. So that is actually the motivation for this.
Okay, hang on a minute. So we all know that during COVID-19 pandemic, it's not just us that's affected, it's affected the whole world. So how is it different than any other teaching and learning approaches out there? Because everyone was forced at that time to do all the teachings and learning online.
Okay, so basically, when we talk about teaching and learning online, the first thing that into our mind is the setup. Sometimes what do we need to have this online learning? Not only online learning, during hybrid as well. So in terms of the infrastructure, we don't have a very good infrastructure to make, use a high class, high specification infrastructure for hybrid class. So this is one of the setup that we propose. You do no need to be very straightforward and also low cost. Hoc setup it can be. So that is important of this approach.
Okay, okay. So you're comparing this to, say, the setup just now, which was the dedicated hybrid learning space, right? Where you have students in front of you and you also have like all these teleconferencing facilities behind you. So you're sharing the same space where they can be both at home and face to face. However, are you actually saying that the dedicated hybrid learning space is not necessary at all?
It is necessary only if we have the capacity, we have the budget to create these spaces like our future classroom, for example, or smart hybrid. But because during the transition from physical to online, it's a very ad hoc, so fast. Everything need to be converted to online so fast. So this is one of the suggestions of how you, instead of you wait for your faculties or your university to set up this kind of hybrid complete infrastructure, this is one of the way that you can.
Okay, I get it now. So it is great in an ideal world to have a smart, hybrid, dedicated space for teaching and learning. However, as usual, budget is our constraint, right? And also time. So I believe time is also important because in order to get all of these equipment, you need to go through the procurement process, and that takes a long, long time. So I understand. It sounds like a God-sent solution, this high flex bicroness approach, right?
Yes, and also it's basically the flexibility that we give to the student is not without any principles. So we have these 5 principles that all of the students and all of the faculty members to follow, especially on the, for example, on the first one, under-resourced students, because that is our target students. It should not be simply penalized without giving them the flexibility to adapt to this current requirement. Let's say that students, rural areas, they don't have the internet. So should we penalize them? So we should not. So we gave them flexibility to join in a synchronous class after that session, but we still need to be in the UPM or any, rules and guidelines of UPM on how the attendance should be. So that is one of the important things to be in mind lah.
All right, that seems like a very well thought out plan. It is inclusive and also emphasizes on the challenges of teaching and learning in an ad hoc situation, because nobody was prepared for COVID-19 to happen. So Dr. Amy, would you be able to share with us some examples of teaching and learning activities that take place in FSKTM using this approach?
Okay, so we have a few examples I have stated here. One of them is the collaborative learning. Okay, so this is actually between the face-to-face and online student. So I think we have the opportunities because we are from computer science to area. So these applications and all the setups are we can use it freely, and also some of the applications is easy to be used. So this is one of the collaboration apps that we always use, which is Jamboard. Okay, and other than that, we also have other free platforms. Everything is free because our motto is low cost. Okay, so it's a very ad hoc and also low cost. And we also have this gamification class activities that we have done. Between these face-to-face and online students, it can also be done with online students only. So it's a very, very flexible activities, as I can say. So we also have, in terms of bichronal setting, okay, we not really depending on the applications that we usually use with high bandwidth. For example, Google Meet, for example, Zoom. I sometimes also use WhatsApp to share the question and also discuss among the students through the WhatsApp or Telegram. So that is one of the activities that we have done to cater. The aim is to cater all of the students without any rigid or anything. So this is one of the techniques that we have done to reduce the time management issues, okay, time fatigue, online fatigue issues. So this is one of them. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that sounds like, it's a really good approach there, because it's not restricting any courses, right? It's not restricted to any courses. So actually you can, any course can do it, can
Yes.
use the approach in any field,
Yep.
any level, any time, any place. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So I feel that's very, very flexible. So Dr. Amy, let's talk about tools. What do we need to have, like the bare minimum, in order to have this set up at our institution?
As what I've mentioned before, during the COVID-19, everything is at home. Okay, so we actually scramble all of the things that we have. So we have a most low cost, whatever available we use that. But in our faculty, we have 3 hybrid rooms ready to be used, and it's already being used last semester with the hybrid board and also the AI tracking camera. Okay, so this is a professional setup. Okay, and we also have ad hoc tools because we couldn't have all of the classes there in hybrid mode because it's a very is quite expensive to prepare in short term. So we have an ad hoc tools by the lecturers. So these are actually being set up by their own. By our own faculty members. And also is a very movable, it's flexible, you can bring it to other classes as well. So this is examples of the tools that we have used in different classes. We also have a hybrid field trip. So we bring the online student to the company that we visit, and then we somehow online Zooming during that visit. So that is one of the activities that we have. Okay.
Wow, such dedication.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And I'm just curious, does this approach work?
Yes, of course, because, okay, let me show you some of the, okay, so this is the Okay, this is the one that I've mentioned. Okay, low cost and also professional setup. So we somehow calculate lah the cost for creating a professional setup of the hybrid classroom and also the low cost. You can see the difference. It's a big difference there lah. Okay. Okay, in terms of the questions, in terms of the evaluation, right? Okay, so
No, I'm just saying just now, if you go back, with just a few hundred ringgit, so this kind of setup is possible?
yes. This one, the lecturer that been using this is actually have completed a few courses by using the same setup. So yes, it definitely can be used for online.
Definitely budget friendly, yes?
Yes, budget friendly.
Okay. So what about evaluation just now?
Okay, for evaluation, okay, so for evaluation, okay, first I will explain a little bit on the benefit. Because we are online, so all of the software that we have used, we chose the one that is free and easy to be used, not what we call no subscription. Okay, so everything is free. Memang kedekutnya fakulti. All free and also easy. And also we use the one that is most in trend. Okay, the applications that are in trend that student likes to use, and also it can be used both in online and also face to face. Okay, in terms of evaluation, okay, there is no difference between online classes and hybrid classes and also face-to-face classes. That is the most important thing. We don't want to separate the experience. The experience should be the same. Either the students are in online, at home, wherever they are, whenever they assess the learning outcomes. That should be the mantra. So the learning outcome should be the same. Only that the way that we handle the learning method may be different throughout the student. So as what I've it's been stated there, the student likes the method works for them, is somehow no difference than the physical class that they have.
It's great to see that both students and lecturers are, receptive towards this approach. And even what's more is it's like you said, it's budget friendly. And, I hate it when we had to spend a lot on systems that don't get used simply because you have to send all of the faculty members to go for training. And then it's very intimidating and it's very intricate to set up. And in the end, because there's just so much effort to use it, it doesn't get used at all.
Yes,
So it's such a waste. So I can actually see that this high flex bicroness approach being used for all the faculties across UPM.
Yeah, inshallah.
Inshallah. Right. So next. We have a few more seconds to go before we're off air. Would you mind just briefly summarizing what high flex bicroness is?
Okay. We have a.
Oh, sorry,
okay.
I forgot.
Okay, we have one important point lah. Although we conduct all the courses online, hybrid, but still we can still transfer the knowledge to the community, to outside world. We conducted a few webinars for the hybrid classes. We conduct a physical seminar as well. So it doesn't matter how a learning method will do, we still can have the same experience that we have in physical classes.
Wow, I'm actually impressed because just now I mentioned that it might be beneficial for the whole of UPM, but now it can actually be extended towards the community
Yes.
as well, for community learning, right? It's okay. So, all right, so we have a few more seconds before we're off air. Would you mind briefly summarizing what high-flex bicroness is?
Okay, so basically high-flex bicroness is an approach, okay, that cater for online, offline, physical, hybrid classes. Okay, in a very low-cost setup. Okay, affordable. Okay, but let's say we have more budget, we can bring more equipments to that setup as well. But the most important thing is flexible in terms of the learning method, in terms of the student learning, achieving the learning outcome. So I think that is the most important thing lah.
go.
Okay.
Irrelevant.
Uh,
COVID-19.
Okay, after COVID-19, does it still relevant? Yes, because we never know. We never know whether we will have COVID-20, COVID-21. So the moving towards, the moving towards online, physical is very seamless. We couldn't see any difference between this online and also offline setting. So I think it's still relevant.
Thank you very much. I think that's all the time that we have for the session today. Dr. Amy, thank you very much for your time and sharing all the excellent novel teaching approach from FSKTM UPM. It is the high flex bicronus approach. I am sure that a lot of the instructors and students will benefit from this. Ladies and gentlemen at home, thank you for staying with us till the end of the show. I'm Noris Matnarawi, and I'll see you next time in our next slot of education today. Same time, same place. God bless everyone. Goodbye.
Okey, terima kasih Dr. Amy dan Dr. Noris atas sesi buah bicara. Baik, saya nak tanya bagaimana idea untuk penggunaan bicronus term tu dipilih kan? Adakah ianya berdasarkan ilham ataupun ada resource lah yang official lah, contohnya macam majlis ketua-ketua peneras IPTA MEPTA pun ada keluarkan satu playbook lah, playbook pengajaran dan playbook pengajaran dan pembelajaran talian. Itu satu term bicronus tu. Adakah dia common term ataupun direka-reka ataupun macam mana. Kemudian dari segi low cost tu tengok tadi ada comparison lah, gambar untuk yang low cost setup dengan professional setup, tapi yang low cost ni dia hanya basic setup yang kami nampak lah, guna adapter HDMI, tapi tak ada yang screen contohnya kan, yang tools lain lah yang boleh melengkapkan lagi hybrid learning lah. Mungkin boleh jelaskan?
Okey, terima kasih atas soalan. Izinkan saya jawab bahasa Melayu. Okey, untuk terms bicronus, sebenarnya masa COVID-19 tu kita tak terfikir lagi perkataan bicronus. But it's actually a combination of asynchronous and also synchronous. Kemudian masa sebelum saya kami untuk prepare untuk pertandingan ini, saya ada mencari jugalah di beberapa jurnal antarabangsa dalam bidang pendidikan, dan ada satu artikel yang dah menggunakan perkataan bicronus. Artikel tu baru sahaja dikeluarkan tahun ni, tapi saya lupa nak bawa dia punya tu. Memang adalah perkataan bicronus, but memang agak barulah perkataan bicronus. Dan terms tu, perkataan tu memang digunakan untuk aktiviti sama ada synchronous dan juga asynchronous. Dia boleh jadi dua-dua. Okey, untuk yang soalan nombor 2.
Comparison.
Boleh kita buat?
Boleh.
So in terms of equipment, actually gambar tadi tu tak menyeluruh, itu just some of it, but the list of the materials are the ones that can be procured lah. But other things such as yang projection towards the screen, memang kena adalah projector yang memang dah ada dalam bilik di fakulti. Dan in most cases when the lecturers are also moving around, they are also using their mobile phone. So maknanya dia nampak juga, students akan nampak juga muka di sini walaupun kita tak ada AI camera yang follow dia. Sebab certain rooms ada AI camera, certain room yang tak ada, the very very low cost punya bilik tu, the lecturers have to resort to using their own mobile phone and logging on Zoom, and when they teach they hold and they wear the handheld microphone and speaker lah. So the microphone and the speaker is on their body and the phone is over here, so the students online can see the expression and actually hear, but the students face to face are actually in front and they have to focus on the projector. Okay, I hope that answers.
Okay, nak kena komen sikit lah. Nanti kan kata memandai pula. Nak cakap pun malu juga. Okay, pada saya tajuk dia adalah Personalizing CS Education, okay, Computer Science Education using High Flag Bicronus. So, daripada temumpuan ni tadi, dia lebih kepada the high flag itself, tapi on how it helps personalize CS education. So mungkin kalau for next presentation whatever, focus more on the CS education tu sebab daripada FSKTM kan. So what are the subjects available, macam mana high flex ni membantu each subject tu. Itu yang sepatutnya diberikan fokus. Sebab yang saya nampak sekarang, kita nampak tadi adalah lebih kepada cerita hybrid semua kan. So kami dekat MIPTA ni pun tengah tak settle lagi keluarkan hybrid learning punya garis panduan dengan kementerian lah. So bila tengok perkataan tu tadi, Bicronus, saya tanya doktor juga kan, kata pernah dengar ke tak? Kata macam tak pernah dengar. Dalam kita punya workshop dengan all the satu Malaysia ni pun macam tak pernah lagi come up with Bicronus lah. So maybe something new, something good, tapi nonetheless it's still hybrid, high flex lah. High flex, orang pun jangan guna high flex kan. Kebanyakan hybrid je lah. So the setup semua okay, cuma fokus lebih kepada tu lah, how do you personalize the CS education tu. Then barulah nampak dia punya kekuatan penggunaan hybrid. Sebab hybrid is everywhere. Semua orang pakai kan, all the tools and everything. Cuma how do you personalize computer science education?
Okay, boleh saya jawab?
Boleh.
Okay, untuk Bicronus, macam saya mention tadi lah, it's a very very new term untuk asynchronous dan synchronous. Sebenarnya dia lebih berkaitan dengan high flex. High flex seperti yang kita tahu, dia ada flexibility kepada student untuk datang kelas secara fizikal, boleh join kelas secara online, ataupun kalau tak nak buat pada masa yang sama, boleh join kelas dalam asynchronous. So Bicronus adalah in between, where we actually give the flexibility to student untuk pilih sama ada dia nak join kelas mengikut status semasa beliau lah. Ada yang, macam saya kata, ada yang di dalam tempat yang pendalaman, tak ada internet, jadi dia tak mampu untuk join kelas pada masa yang tu. Jadi kita bagi flexibility in terms of Bicronus, okay, kepada this kind of student.
Just mencelah sikit lah kan, mohon izin. Tadi ada mention pasal kursus, how differently is it personalized. So actually kita memang tested on several courses. So here mungkin tadi tak sempat nak tunjuk secara terperinci, ada SKM 3002. So setup dia lebih kepada mathematical formula. So dia perlu kepada zoom dekat kamera tu ya, sebagaimana nak lakukan nak lakukan calculation. And secondly, ni subjek lain pula, even subjek master kita pakai juga untuk discussion and basic discussions lah. And then subjek CNS 3200, subjek communication, untuk actually this one is simulation, okay, so very close simulation of actual devices and large scale network. So yang online pun ada, yang offline, face to face pun ada. So it's actually working for several courses. So some of the learners are online, some of the learners are face to face just now. So kita ada, cuma kita tak dapat nak tunjuk semua lah.
Saya rasa itu yang sepatutnya difokuskan lebih.
Oh, okay.
Sebab the terms hybrid ke high flex ke, saya semua rasa semua orang mungkin dah sikitlah satu page saja. Yang lain ni patut should be on this. Barulah nampak kekuatan kan, whereas you have done a lot kan, untuk semua different courses and so on. Okay, so thank you. Alright.
tim dari Fakulti Sains Komputer dan Teknologi Maklumat atas pembentangan mereka sebentar tadi. Baik, kini kita akan teruskan dengan pembentangan yang ketujuh, merupakan pembentangan terakhir bagi Pertandingan Amalan Terbaik Inovasi Pengajaran dan Pembelajaran Fakulti. Dipersilakan Teknologi Dr. Muhammad Zairul Muhammad Noor dari Fakulti Reka Bentuk dan Seni Bina dengan tajuk inovasi beliau iaitu SOLE, Metodologi 2.0. Dipersilakan.
Yep. Boleh juga. Asynchronous. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let's begin with the video and then I shall continue with my presentation. Higher education institution has a variety of learning environment depending on the course, and students might be taught in lecture halls, seminar rooms, studios, or laboratories. But design-oriented artistic fields such as architecture are more likely to be taught in the student school. Students are given their knowledge, background, and common abilities necessary for different applications in several courses throughout their education program. Practical courses in architecture require a studio atmosphere that allows students to build and construct, as opposed to practical courses that rely on a narrow curriculum and can be taught in lecture halls. And without a doubt, architects invest in digital abilities to advance the architecture design process using digital models and cutting-edge augmented technology. However, due to the strong studio tradition of teaching that requires in-person interaction, educational institutions rarely undertake online teaching in architecture school courses. Previously, before COVID-19, which is in fact 2018, I already highlighted in Suru 1.0 the importance of pedagogy and also cybergogy in this language. Studio is a casual environment where meeting times are stated, where students are assembled and discussed actively. They can come and go 24 hours a day and maintain complete and spacious group areas. This is where Soul Methodology 1.0 mimic the real studio environment by introducing several apps and technology readily available, such as Padlet, Trello, Kahoot, and etc. And I also described how architecture students can collaborate on the technology platform without needing to meet every time. Nonetheless, changing the way a student has English for generations is unusual. And changing to a new kind of teaching means disrupting the entire learning process. Thus, the later subjects find it easier to shift to online platform than the studio design process. Well, nevertheless, the COVID-19 strikes without notice. The studio teaching must be redesigned to be organized completely online. The COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 caused a significant upheaval in the existing status quo, necessitating a significant adjustment in the process of teaching and learning at the design studio. Formal components of face-to-face interactions tied to physical content have been supplanted by digital content overnight. This replacement has necessitated the adaptation of this physical format to new user profiles and technology. COVID-19, a blessing in disguise, offers new potential in studio teaching through innovative pedagogy. However, in compared to the huge growth in online education or disciplines globally, architecture schools have been somewhat slow in offering design studio. The originality of this study is in discovering what has been discussed following COVID-19 and how to proceed after the pandemic hits towards the education. The big dilemma is whether to move forward or return to the status quo. There are unavoidable needs and opportunities for pedagogical adjustment and methods by employing online learning to supplement in-person or face-to-face learning. It is acknowledged that such transformation present both obstacles and opportunities. All right, it's not end yet.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, people said that save the best for the last. Inshallah, present on behalf representing my faculty of Design and Architecture. So what is actually SOL stand for? It's actually Studio-Oriented Learning Environment. Welcome to all judges and all colleagues from other faculties. So in responding to the themes of PICTL this year, which is future-proof graduates. So our SOL methodology, which starting from 2017, is always focusing on future-proof architecture graduates. So about me, I'm a associate professor, technologist Dr. Muhammad Zahra bin Makno from the Department of Architecture, UPM Sedang, and also lab leader for cyber generation, IPSAS. I'm an innovator, researcher, and also academic myself. So what are the challenges in the studio education? We can see that the design studio subject, also known simply as the architecture studio, is a learning setting that supports a set of conditions comparable to those in which a professional architect may operate. So how we actually conduct our studio is actually similar to what architect practice in the architect firm. So recently, the problems that architecture school have had in providing architecture education is in the traditional form have been severely impacted by the pandemic. So this has been like a chaos in all architecture schools in not only Malaysia, throughout the world. So there was an outbreak, okay, as we know, COVID-19 around the end of 2019, and at the end of March 2020, it became a global pandemic. So therefore, background study, the problems that architecture schools have had in providing architecture education in its traditional form have been severely impacted by pandemic. Just to cut it short, when I introduced SOL 1.0 in 2017, it was like, the feedback is like impossible. Okay, why you want to conduct studio online? Yeah, during that time, I still remember those from we call it senior professors. They are so reluctant. They say, "Oh, we are so used to this way of conducting studio." During my time, and in fact, 20 years ago, during my study years also, it's the same like how I was, being taught, and also at the moment during that 2017. So therefore, that's what initiated SOL. And then during pandemic 2019, suddenly everyone must change. You have no choice, no options. Overnight, everything must change. So in 2022, the question is whether you want to remain status quo, back to the original, or you want to introduce something new, which is we call hybrid studio. Okay, so actually this innovation we mapped with the Lembaga Architect Malaysia CLO, okay, and then based on the PEO1 program outcome 1, 2, and 3, this is where SOL methodology 2.0 reframes how studio educators in architecture and studio-oriented program innovate in their teaching and learning design. All right, the technique weaves together elements of constructivism. Okay, we as an architect, we always, our approach is much more constructivism rather than positivism. And I weave together with cybergogy to produce future-proof architecture graduates, where technology is, we cannot run from it. Emphasizing leadership, participation, teamwork, professionalism, and ethics, as well as communication and lifelong learning. So pedagogy is a collection of the best practices of effective peer learning, while cybergogy is a virtual learning environment which we infuse with the current studio teaching. And therefore, we come up with a new pedagogy. We call it studiogogy. It's a studio-based strategy to combine peer learning and technology usage in the studio learning environment. So it's very important for innovators in teaching to understand the theory that they want to basis from. If you don't know about theory of education, if not basis on theory of education, it's very difficult for you to actually know what's actually the gap in the existing pedagogy in order for you to extend to your new innovation. So our faculty is comprised of three main departments. We have architecture, landscape architecture, and also industrial design. So all of these departments are studio-based teaching. Okay. So the objective of the Seoul Methodology 2.0 is we want to transit from a primarily folk-based education to one that is more informed by outside sources. And it necessitates to criticism, reflection, and most importantly, knowledge, and not only information and comprehension, but knowledge, what constitutes knowledge and where it comes from and how it is formed. Okay, the first objective is to interpret constructivism as the epistemic basis for studio teaching and learning, to improve technology in the with alternative if technology oriented, to improve the social cognitive part of teaching and learning in the studio, and to produce architecture graduates who are future-proof for the global market. So these are the framework, okay, based on the cybergogy and also pedagogy. We come up with this framework where the main component is a tutorial and sharing, lecture input, and also assessment that we're doing towards the student. Okay, we also have synchronous and also asynchronous, face-to-face, and so invited guests. This is under the input lecture. And then under the tutorial and sharing, we have online discussion, face-to-face, peer discussion, and role play. And then under the assessment, we have peer review, spider web, and also facilitated assessment, and also external review. So it's actually a methodology by itself. It's not a tools or whatever. This is Padlet monitoring. Previously, what we did is that we need to come to the studio, and then we need to monitor every student. So now, with the technology, of course, Padlet, Trello, we can just monitor student progress using Padlet. So it's easier to, because as architecture student, normally we know if that student hired someone to complete their work. When they don't show progress, suddenly, oh, we have a beautiful drawing at the end of the semester. Okay, so this is very important to actually monitor their progress from time to time. Sometimes those students send their progress in 3 o'clock in the morning. So, well, architect is, we call it buruh hantu normally, urban planner also. So we are all this typical nocturnal human. We prefer to be in the nighttime rather than in daylight. So, okay. So tutorial and sharing session. Right now we're having hybrid. Some of our students still in their hometown. So, like my studio, some still in Sri Lanka and also other parts of the world. So we have hybrid system, face-to-face and online. So peer sharing session among their peers and each student. Okay, during this time, previously, what we did is that normally it's always teachers oriented. Okay, normally it's always teachers oriented. We are the one who need to think about what we want to show to students. But for Seoul methodology, we ask the student themselves. So this is the SCL approach. At least bring 3 references and you discuss in the group. So we, the lecturers, we become facilitator. Okay, we don't provide material for them. And then hybrid assessment, where we have smart board, smart panel in our studio, and then we have a camera. We have a camera for those who online. So the student can can touch and then can zoom in and zoom out the drawings. So it's a touch screen. And then, of course, we have a session online as well. This is what I talk about facilitator assessment. The teachers now not become the provider, but we become the facilitator. We facilitate the session, discussion among the student, and also, in fact, the rubric, we have 2 rubrics. rather than have a normal rubrics that access the student drawings and whatnot, we have separate rubric that we are looking into leadership and entrepreneurship. We're looking into participation, teamwork, professional ethics, and also communication and lifelong learning. So these are the set of another rubrics that what future employer is looking for. You might have 5 minit cepat Oh. Semua dah lapar Okay. We might have 3-pointer students, okay, but teamwork might not, maybe he's not participating, he's not have a teamwork spirit. So he's somehow lost in that marks. Okay, so experiment on 2 groups without soul and with soul classroom. We identified that a lot of students get A for their studio project, and then less fail. Actually, the studio is normal for student to fail because of the studio is very complicated somehow. Okay, and also the feedback from the student also, alhamdulillah, I got very positive feedback. And actually, in fact, for Soul 1.0, we have already have a training TOT in India, Indonesia, and Philippines. And also next month, I'm gonna give a TOT in South Korea for this Soul Methodology 2.0. We have collaboration with Sejong University. We have a copyright for this framework and also the module. And also this is a package that I offer to normally for the TOT, where we have a training day, and then the first round, the soul will be implement throughout the 14 weeks, and then we'll come at the second final round to actually evaluate back all the evaluation from the lecturers and also the students. Okay, more about this, can you go to the website, soulmethodology.com. And maybe if I can just open the website. So, okay, we have all this about the module, and then we have the TOT package for, in fact, for next year, we've been called to Uzbekistan, Pakistan, Nepal, and also several East Asian countries to actually promote this module. And yep, you can also watch previous video, Soul 1.0, and also recognition that we obtained for this Soul module as well. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. My comment, it's a mature product, dah ada evolution kan, few years. So we can see that you have all the proof and pergi overseas and so on lah. So I think it is something good lah, I would say. Sebab dah nampak kan, dia punya bukti kan, orang panggil for trainings and so on. So we can say that it's a good product. Tu je lah. Congratulations.
Okay, there's Dr. Zairon. Okay, congratulations. Okay, cuma dalam pedagogi dia ada satu lagi kan, heterogogi,
Utogogi.
Utogogi. So yang ni dia combination pedagogi dengan cybergogi
Yeah.
Baik. Saya rasa satu inovasi PDP yang baguslah. Maksudnya Walaupun Dr. Zairul dari Fakulti Architecture, tapi berjaya implementasi pedagogi dalam subjek ni lah. So mungkin for future planning, selain daripada TOT kan, apa lagi yang Zairul plan lah?
Okay,
Mungkin
planning, future planning kita maybe akan buat satu apps. Kita akan create apps. So rather than kita use third party right now, Padlet and whatnot. So I might maybe create another maybe apps to have a combination of Padlet, Miro, if you know Miro. So we combine specifically for studio design. In fact, for the Indonesia training is not for architecture studio. It's actually for fashion, interior design, and also textile. So it's actually applicable to all studio related. Inshallah. Thank you.
Pengajaran PDP antara fakulti sekolah Pusat Pengajaran tahun 2022. Sebelum itu dijemput Yang Berusaha Profesor Madya Teknologis Dr. Muhammad Khaizir Omar untuk memberikan sedikit ucapan penutup. Dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. So on behalf of the Center for Academic Development Universiti Putra Malaysia, we would like to extend the gratitudes and thankfulness to all participants this year. It was such a splendid experience listening to all passionate educators in UPM. Of course, we would like to thank our panelists today for their thoughtful comments and suggestions for the improvement of the teaching and learning practices in UPM. So perhaps juri nak ada komen apa-apa ke sebelum? I'll pass over the microphone to you if you have any comments, overall comments and suggestion.
Alright, terima kasih Dr. Ghazir. Secara keseluruhannya kami rasa, kami rasa all the products walaupun ada 7 je, tapi dia punya kepelbagaian tu kan, from various discipline, is quite okay. Ada yang very new, ada yang macam tadi, yang last kali ni dah mature product. So it's good to see that people are actually working towards something new lah. The use of Padlet walaupun dah baru, coming up with different new terms and so on kan, hybrid, bicronus dan sebagainya lah. So I think it's a good platform, it's a good initiative to have something like this, and thank you so much for inviting us to share and to experience what you guys want to share lah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much once again, and on behalf of CADe, we look forward to meeting all of you again next year on PICTEL 2023, especially on Amalan Terbaik Inovasi Fakulti di Universiti Putra Malaysia. Please enjoy the free flow lunch. CADe treat all of you for the wonderful lunch today, so enjoy. Thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have a wonderful day.